he must have obviously bumped into people from time to time. He'd be on holiday, and
massively.
You get that feeling, but that's the big impact.
He basically says to this day, there's never a day goes past somebody doesn't mention it. As soon as they hear that name, oh my God, I was there. And the majority of them is thank you. Thank you very much.
What are you drinking?
Aye, because at that time, Richard, he came back to Danes Park for pre-season training in the big Moundy Mail, and it was all like £2. Go and buy a cellar drink, me man.
Oh, fantastic.
Or that kind of thing. And then he went to Falkirk. He goes to Falkirk, and the guy says, "Oh, I've got a mail." And he's like, "Oh, of course, I." And he opens it up, and it was dog shit.
Oh, lovely.
Hair support. So
that was his offline abuse.
Exactly. Aye. And then by about 2005, I just kind of got sick of it.
Right.
I really did get sick of it because I overstepped the mark a few times.
Right.
One time I put my name in an article that I never wrote, and the guy had said to me, and there was a sentence in it that was pretty bad about an employee Celtic. And even though it's probably true, I shouldn't have done it, and I took the blame for it.
Right.
She contacted me through a lawyer with him, and I was like, you know what? And I kind of woke up and I thought, I was like, I'm really sorry about that. Actually, that was fucking outrageous. I have no excuse. But that was, my inkling was, angry young man.
Right.
Never thinking, because at that time, Richard, the internet couldn't really touch you. There wasn't Facebook, there wasn't Twitter, there wasn't that kind of thing. So you could just write stuff, and people might go mental about it. And then it suddenly did, and I thought, that's fucking out, stop it. And that basically stopped me writing at all.
Right.
Added to the fact that I'd come out a long-term relationship with my eldest son's mother, which really, really depressed me.
Right.
Really, actual depression hit me and stuff like that. And so I just stopped writing completely. And I still ranting away on the internet, but then I would see, it's actually quite funny because I know that I would see stuff on message boards, people having a go at me, who have subsequently kissed my arse. And I've never mentioned the fact that you used to have a go at me all the time. And I didn't mean towards me, I mean just say stuff, utter lies about me. And then I see them and they're like, oh, this and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and that's when I realised that I'd actually grown up. Instead of being like, you cunt.
Aye, immediate response. Aye.
It's all a big picture. Football, books, films, whatever. It's all about the big picture. The political angles and he doesn't like him and she doesn't like her and all that kind of thing are completely irrelevant. You have to rise above that kind of stuff, or you'll end up arguing about the rest of your life. Distracted by it all. And also the fact that my life was in a rut by then. And then I got really sick. I was feeling terrible and I was grossly overweight. I mean, I'm not exactly slim now. I'm about 15, 10 or something now, but then I was 22 stone. Jeez. And I was drinking like a fish, smoking like all that kind of thing. And the doctor, I remember going for a checkup with the doctor because I was feeling like shit, and he was just basically like, I'll take your blood pressure. And I was like, hi, it's probably higher than now, because I think I can't remember what had happened. And he went, it's going to be a lot higher when I tell you what's going on here. I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, I'll give you 5 years and you'll be dead. I was like, what? He goes, you're overweight, you're drinking like fuck, you're smoking like fuck. How long do you think that's honestly going to happen? As soon as he said that, Richard, that was it. Lost 6 stone, stopped smoking, stopped drinking, the whole 9 yards. And the last aspect of that was trying to change my life. Right. Seismically change my life. I knew I couldn't change my life by just doing something small. And that's when thoughts of New York started to come. Right, so that's good. That does lead me on to this next. So you've mentioned a couple of family and connections and stuff that are over there. Is that part of it, or was America just a shining thing that you could go towards and try something new? What had happened was I had a friend in Yonkers, which is just outside the Bronx, called Peter Ennis. And in 2004, Celtic played over in America. Various teams, and Peter had put us up, myself and Joe Miller, and we got to know him and all that kind of thing, and it was good and whatever. And then in 2005 I went back there because we were going to go to Vegas for the convention, and that was fantastic. I mean, Peter almost got divorced because of it, but it was it was good. But they never really had planned to see it, but on the last day of the time I was in 2005. I was sitting in Peter's house, I'm waiting 3 hours to go before the taxi comes to take me to the airport, and this guy, Gary, who I'd known online, was like, oh, you're there, I'll come over and see you. And I was like, and I'll be honest with you straight now, Richard, I swear to God, I was like, oh, fuck, you know, I just like to go home, and now I've got to go and speak to this guy and whatever. And he turned up, and I swear to God, he changed my life in 2 hours chat. He was nothing like any guy I'd ever met in my entire life. He had an aura about him. You know, I think in life you meet 2 or 3 guys that are like a force of nature, and he was a force of nature. And I was just awe-inspired by his attitude and his confidence. So much so that we kept in touch, and I went back to October. Now, the August is when I got the health scare. The October was kind of like the fight back had started. So I said to Joe Miller again, you know, Joe's been one of these guys. Joe Miller, a brilliant friend of mine, and part of the film. But he's nuts. You know what I mean? Forget all the Not The View stuff. Joe Miller's nuts. And if I was to sit and review some of the escapades I've been involved with him in, this would be a fucking 18 certificate. But that's another story. But he came over, and at that time I wasn't drinking. And Joe likes a drink.
Right.
To be, you know, conservative about it. And so Joe was kind of like, I could see what Joe was thinking all the way over it, you know. You know somebody a long time, you know how to... And he was thinking, how am I going to enjoy myself here if you didn't fucking drink? And so I said to Joe, whatever you want to do, just do it. If you want to go out, fine. I'm not really in the mode to go out yet, but, you know, fine. So I ended up spending a lot of time with Gary.
Right.
And Gary introduced me to his life, which at the time I didn't realise what was going on, but first of all, he takes me to this club in Queens. And he's like, I'll take you to a club. So I'm thinking a nightclub or whatever, you know. And it was like a house. So I thought, and it was literally like, you know, like if I walked into your front door, and instead of being a house there was like a casino. That's what it was like, except it was like, you know, it was a casino and there was a restaurant, and I was like, wait the fuck, have I just walked into the TARDIS here or something, like, you know? And all these guys were there and stuff and whatever. And that was it. And then that night he said, does anything you want to do? I said, I'd love to go to Coney Island. And he was like, what? And it was because of the film The Warriors. I don't know if you've ever seen it. The gangs in New York.
Oh, right, aye.
And I always loved that Wonder Wheel and that, and he took me there and stuff like that, and fucking, it was just and so we built this relationship to the point when I got the all clear health wise in the May 2006, having lost the 6 stone and stopped smoking, stopped drinking and whatever, I went over to New York, and having been in this cocoon of health for almost a year, where I'd never done anything to even remotely, you know, mess with my health. I was going over to New York. It was this World Cup 2006, and I had the time of my life. From being a fat mess who had no confidence, I was pulling birds, I was having a drink, I was absolutely just some incredible times. And Gary just turned around to me. What had actually happened was, I was like, to be honest, and if you're of a sensitive nature, please stop listening. We're in a pub called the Irish Pub, 7th Avenue. And I'm chatting up this bird for Detroit, and we're getting on fine, and Gary just appeared, and she was sort of half drunk, and she looked at him and went, who the fuck are you? You know? And Gary went, which is a line at the film The Big Lebowski, I'm the dude. And I pissed myself laughing. And I went to the toilet, come back, and I had gone through that thing when you're chatting up a bird, where I was dying on a piss, but you didn't want to leave her. You know what I mean? Because you think some other bastard will steam in here. But eventually that happened, and I pulled her, and she had stayed in the hotel. And as I was leaving, Gary touched my arm and he went, you should move over here. And I said, what? And he went, you should move over here. He said, I'm telling you. He said, it's made for you, this place. And that's the first time I ever thought about it. Ever.
Was it? Ah, right. Even having the fun and stuff, you just no.
Never ever thought.
This is vacation time.
Nice place to visit, you know,
Aye.
that kind of thing. So that was that. So as soon as he said it, my head was just spinning. I moved over there 2 days after Nakamura scored a goal against Man United. All planned and that, my stuff went to storage and that kind of thing. Thanksgiving it was in America. Gary picked me up, and Gary being Gary, took me to his in-laws' house for Thanksgiving, which is like our Christmas Day. It's much bigger than Christmas Day. turkey and all that shit. And Gary being Gary never told them that it was coming.
Jesus.
So just imagine a stranger appearing, you're doing some Christmas Day, and you're sitting there like, well, who are you? That's kind of what it was like. But Gary doesn't give a fuck about anything, so he was just like, what are you going to do? And we were off. And suddenly, for this overweight, unconfident moron that I was, here I am in New York, I'm in the centre of the universe, women seem to like me, guys seem to like me, and this is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't have went any better. I was there in November, I had my house by January,
Jeez.
staying in a nice neighbourhood, invested money in the bars, worked in the bars, suddenly I'm a manager of a bar,
Oh, for God's sake.
making an absolute fortune.
Depression nowhere to be seen.
Depression was an afterthought.
Uh-huh.
I'm in great relationships with women, I'm chatting up everything that moves, I've got everything at my fingertips. What, you go to the Yankee game, boom, there you go, you need the best clothes, you need a reservation at a restaurant, and on it goes. And it was just like, this is a dream. And I remember saying to a guy from Ireland that worked in one of our bars, Graham,
Mm-hmm.
who had come into me for a job and said, I said, right, fine. He said, I'll go with my CV. Cool. And off he went. An hour later, I just picked up the envelope, looked at the CV, and on it just said, I'm the best barman in Manhattan. And I had his phone number. I said to get right, phone him immediately, get him back. That's the kind of guy we want here. Because in New York, barman everyone will tell you need to live large.
Right.
Anybody can pour drinks, you know. And that was it. And so I remember saying to him one night, I said, this is fucking paradise. I said, I'm surrounded by Tims. There's Tims everywhere in New York. Much more than you think just over here.
Really?
Everywhere you went, there was wee bits of Celtic. I says, I can walk about with the hoops on.
Right.
Anything like that, no problem. I says, every time I open my mouth, women are falling at my feet because they never hear this accent.
Of course, aye, that's right.
I've got money in my pocket, I've got a great house. It's fucking fantastic. And it was like that for a long time, Richard. It really was. It was just like, this is paradise.
Did you fear it was going to end?
Nah.
Are you that kind of character? No. You just living it, just riding the wave?
I am that kind of character, but I had so much money, and I had a great house, and I had all these people, and I was surrounded by people who didn't give a toss about anything. Everything seemed possible. Everywhere I went, I was welcomed.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, I thought anything's possible here. And we used to always say this thing, which is in The Godfather, which is said by Hyman Roth, and was actually said by Meyer Lansky in real life when the FBI bugged him and they were watching a documentary with the mafia, and he said, we're bigger than US Steel. And that's what we used to always say, we're bigger than US Steel. We're never going to get fucking stopped. Cut to June 15th, 2008.
Yep.
And the next game day I was going to play golf with Joe Pesci. Charity thing, $500 I paid somewhere in New Jersey, I can't remember where it was, and my girlfriend at the time was going to drive us out there. Now anybody who knows New York knows that, you know, getting through Manhattan is like, I mean, it could take you hours, days, weeks, months. So what we'd done, we never actually owned a car, because you never owned a car there.
Aye.
We used to get this thing called Zip Car, where you would just tell them the location you were going to be at, and you'd pick the car up and drive it off, if you had a membership thing. So we decided to pick the car up on the west side of New York so we could just zip right over to New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Get a train in first because we stayed in Queens Boulevard. And this was a nice girl, you know, and, you know, I loved her, all that kind of thing. Blah, blah, blah. And then it was June 15th, so my birthday was on a Thursday, and Gary had decided, and he worked as an engineer, and he said, on a Sunday, why don't we have a film night? Every week you'll come in, we'll watch a film, and we'll talk. And we never watched one film. Every week we just went out and got drunk, right? And on the Sunday he'd say, oh, your birthday, blah, blah, I'll take you to Hawaiian Tropics, which is a restaurant. It's no longer there in Times Square, but at the time it was a restaurant where you went and the waitresses were in bikinis. So it was pretty good. We went in there that night, Steffi Graf was in the restaurant with somebody, oh, fantastic, whatever. And then I was going to meet my girlfriend, and I go there, and she said to me, have you eaten? And I said, aye, I told you I was at Hawaiian Tropics. She's like, well, do you want to go and get something to eat? Well, no really, because I've just eaten. Oh, so what you're saying is, you wouldn't watch me eat something? I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, so she, basically, like, she was antagonising me non-stop for the first time ever, and then stormed off. I was like, what on earth is going on here? So I was kind of chased her, but then she just wasn't for